So here we are in Unit 1 still. Now we are reviewing our equations of lines. This is something that, again, lines have been with us pretty much for forever. The slope and the y-intercept, well, if we're in the form of y equals mx plus b, keep in mind that m is equal to your slope and b is equal to your y-intercept, okay? So I can't remember the last time I wrote in lowercase letters, but that's all it is that we're looking for. So if we look at question 1, I'm already in y equals mx plus b form. That just means that my slope is equal to -2/1. Now the top one tells me which way I move up or down. The bottom one tells me which way I move left or right. So if you can, always put that negative symbol up to the top. It makes your life easier. Your y-intercept, that's going to be 3 in this one, and that is the starting spot of your graph along the y-axis. Now, question 2 requires me to do a little bit of work, though. So I am going to move this 2x over. So if I move this 2x over, I've got 4y is equal to -2x plus 8. Now what I want to do is divide everything by 4, and I like to divide everything separately, but that's just a personal preference for me. The reason I do that is because now I have y equals -1/2x plus 2. And from here, what am I allowed to do with that? Well, my slope is equal to -1/2, so that's saying I move down 1 and to the right 2, okay? And my y-intercept is going to be equal to 2, so I'm going to start 2 units above the x-axis at the value of y equals 2 on our y-axis, okay? So a couple of things that we want to remember. Slope is just the average rate of change between 2 different points. There's a few different ways that you can remember it. It's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's your slope formula that's been with you for forever. We have the rise over the run. Some teachers have talked about that. Or you can also say delta y over delta x. Now what that means is it's just the change in y over the change in x, okay? There's 4 main types of slopes here. So those 4 main types of slopes are, I could have a positive slope, and if I have a positive slope, I'm pointing up. If I have a negative slope, I'm pointing down. A 0 slope is a horizontal line. And one thing that's cool about the horizontal lines is if you look, you can kind of turn that into a Z for 0 slope. Kind of silly, but it usually works. Those are our horizontal lines, just remember that, horizontal. Or we've got an undefined slope. Now, another thing that people talk about with undefined slopes is we say no slope. What you can do there is you can turn your vertical line into a giant N for no slope. So undefined slopes, no slopes, those are our vertical lines. 0 slopes are horizontal lines, and that's what we need to remember. X-intercept is when y is equal to 0, so it's the opposite of what you think. It's where you cross the x-axis, and therefore the y-intercept is when x is equal to 0. It's where you cross the y-axis, okay? We've got 3 different forms. Now, 2 of these you've definitely done before. I don't know if general form has ever been named for you guys and girls, but general form is just ax plus by is equal to c. Point slope form is something that you've done before. It's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, where m is the value of your slope. y1 and x1 are the value of the coordinates that were given to you. And the last one you should be very familiar with. The last one is slope-intercept form. That's just our y equals mx plus b. I know the slope and I know the intercept. Slope-intercept form, okay? That's where it gets named from. So you're going to be asked to write equations of lines with a whole bunch of different things, okay? There's going to be a whole lot of different information that's given to you. And in letter A over here, in this one, I know the slope is equal to 2, and I have a point of 4, -3. Well, you need to, it just says write the equation of a line. So I'm going to do all 3 of them with you, but how do I know which one to start with? How do I know which one to go? Well, again, I have a slope and a point. If only there was, one of these ones that was called the point slope form, okay? Luckily there is. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna use point slope, which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. This y stays the same, that is always gonna be y. y1 is gonna be over here. This is x1, this is y1. My m value is 2, x stays the same, and x1 is 4. We are going to make this look neater. So we are going to at least change this to y plus 3 equals 2 times x minus 4. Now that right there is point slope form, okay? The directions didn't say to specify anything into a specific type of equation, so I could leave it there, but I do want to go over with you guys what to do and how to convert between the two of them, or between the three of them, I should say. So one thing that we're going to do is we're going to take this point slope formula, y plus 3 equals 2 times x minus 4, and we're going to simplify this. I've now got y plus 3 is equal to 2x minus 8. Okay, I'm going to move this 3. I now have y is equal to 2x minus 11. What is this one right there? Well, there's my slope-intercept form. That's another acceptable way to write this equation, okay? The last one that I want to do is I'm going to practice with you general form. And general form is very simple. What we have for general form here is if I have y equals 2x minus 11, I'm just going to move this 2x over. And then I have negative 2x plus y is equal to negative 11. You could, if you want, do 2x minus y is equal to positive 11. You could change the sign of all of them, but that's up to you. That's how you convert between the three different methods. Point slope, if you have a slope and a point, is definitely the easiest to start with. We're just going to practice a few more different questions here with different given information. So I want to write the equation of a line that contains the point 2, 3, and negative 4, 5. Well, I don't have anything. I at least need a slope. So what I'm going to say to do here is let's find the slope. I've got 2, 3. I'm big on labeling things. I've also got negative 4, 5. Here's x1, y1, x2, y2, and what could I do from here? Well, I'm going to find the slope. My slope here is going to be 5 minus 3 over negative 4 minus 2. This gives me 2 over negative 6. My slope is negative 1/3. Okay. Now that I have my slope being negative 1/3, let's go to point slope. But if I go to point slope, how do I know which one I can use? Well, you can just use either. You can use either point. It doesn't really matter which one you choose to do. It's all gonna give you the same answer at the end of the day, but you don't have to. Okay, so you can choose which one you want. For me, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the first one. I'm gonna do y minus 3 is equal to negative 1/3 times x minus 2. Now, like I said, you know what? We've got plenty of time. I'm going to do them both for you. I could have also done y minus 5 is equal to negative 1/3 times x minus negative 4. Okay, I'll do one at a time here. I'm going to start by simplifying this one. Y minus 3 equals negative 1/3 x plus 2/3. I'll add 3 to both sides and get that y is equal to negative 1/3 x, excuse me. 2/3 plus 9/3 is going to give me plus 11/3. So there's my answer there. I now have a couple of different correct answers here. I'm going to write this as y minus 5 is equal to negative 1/3 x plus 4. So I could have stopped there. I could have stopped here if I had wanted. But again, I just kind of want to practice going through the different methods with you. If we distribute this, I get y minus 5 is equal to negative 1/3 x. This here is going to give me negative 4/3. And when I add 5 to both sides, I get y equals negative 1/3 x. So as you can see, that's the same. And then from there, negative 4/3 plus 15/3 still gives me 11/3. Okay, so it's important to take a look at that. Now, if we wanted, I'm kind of, it looks like I'm running out of space here. I don't know what happened with C being on this page. I could convert. I'm just gonna, since both of these are the same, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take this, I'm gonna add 1/3 x to both sides. I now have 1/3 x plus y is equal to 11/3. Now, we don't really want to leave our general form like this. We don't really want general form to have fractions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply everything by 3. And if I multiply everything by 3, that's going to give me 1x plus 3y is equal to 11. So there's everything that I need for this last problem, problem B. Any of these will be an acceptable answer for you, okay? So I just wanted to point that out for you guys. There's B. And now here's a few other pieces of information for us. Now I want to contain the point to negative 3 and be parallel to 2x plus y equals 6. Well, a couple of things we need to remember. Parallel lines have the same slope. Perpendicular lines have negative reciprocal slope. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take 2x plus y is equal to 6. I'm going to move this over. Y equals negative 2x plus 6. This gives me a slope of negative 2 over 1. If that gives me a slope of negative 2 over 1, that means that my parallel slope is also negative 2 over 1. Okay. Now I also want to contain the point to negative 3. And in order for me to have a line that has a slope of negative 2 and the point to negative 3, I'm going to start with y minus negative 3 is equal to negative 2 times x minus 2. Let's make this look a little neater. Y plus 3 is equal to negative 2 x minus 2. That right there is point slope form that is completely simplified. We're going to go one more. I'm not going to do general form anymore just because I wanted to point out to you guys that general form is not super important other than the fact that you have to be able to recognize that it is general form of a line. It's not something that we're going to use that often, okay? So I just wanted to point that out to you, but we will convert this one, okay? So what we're going to do here is let's distribute this. I've got y plus 3 is equal to negative 2x plus 4. Let's subtract 3 on both sides, and that's going to give me an answer of y equals negative 2x plus 1, okay? So there's my answer. There's a line in point slope. Here's the line in, this one's in point slope. The other one was in slope intercept. Okay. Now let's take a look at D. I want to be perpendicular to 2x plus y equals 6. Well, we already know that 2x plus y equals 6. If I simplify, it gives me y equals negative 2x plus 6. This line has a slope of negative 2 over 1. If that's my slope of this line, that means that the perpendicular slope, I want negative reciprocals. The negative reciprocal of negative 2 over 1 is positive 1 over 2. So now I have a perpendicular slope of 1/2 and the point of 2, negative 3. Okay? So when I put all of this together, I'm going to have y minus negative 3 is equal to 1/2 times x minus 2. If you want, the directions don't say to go to point slope. Don't say to go to slope intercept. I keep doing that. I'm sorry. I could be done there. I am going to go a little bit further though. I'm going to simplify to y plus 3 is equal to 1/2 x minus 1. I'm going to subtract 3 on both sides and get y equals 1/2 x minus 4. There's my answer in slope intercept form. Okay? So just know the different types. Again, point slope and slope intercept are the two more important ones. General form, we're not really going to use it that often, but you do want to be able to recognize it. And just a couple of cases, we've got horizontal lines and we've got vertical lines. Horizontal lines are when you're in the form of y equals. Okay, so horizontal lines are y equals some number. And then you've got vertical lines, those are x equals some numbers, okay? So just be aware of those. A lot of these can just be done with some common sense. So what we're talking about here is if you want to be a horizontal line that passes through the point 3, negative 3, 2. So here's the point 3, 2 right here. And you want to be a horizontal line that goes through that. So if you're a horizontal line here, well, is that going to be an x equals or a y equals? That's going to be the line y equals 2, okay? An undefined slope. So what did we talk about undefined lines were? Okay, undefined lines are those ones that go up and down. So I want to be undefined and I want to go through the point 3, 1. Here's the point 3, 1. If I'm going to be undefined, I want to make sure that I'm vertical line. What type of lines are vertical lines that we talked about? Those are x equals some number. Well, x equals what? 1, 2, 3. There's my answer. So like I said, a lot of these can be done with just some common sense here, okay? I want a 0 slope through the point 2, negative 6. Well, 0 slopes, let's talk about those again. 0 slopes are the ones that go horizontally. So 2, negative 6 is right here. I want a 0 slope. So if I want a 0 slope, that means I'm going this way. What types of lines go that way? That's going to be y equals negative 6. A vertical line through the point 1/2, 3. Here's 1, so there's 1/2. There's 1/2, 3, and I want to be a vertical line. So what line is that going to be? Here's x equals 1/2. Okay, like I said, most of these are just going to be common sense. I want to go through the point 2, negative 3. So let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Here's the point 2, -3, and I want to be parallel to the y-axis. Well, which one is parallel to the y-axis here? That's this one. Hopefully you guys can see this. I probably chose a poor color here. But a vertical line is parallel to the y-axis. That's going to be the line x equals 2. Okay, I'll try to avoid yellow in the future. Moving forward to the last one here. I want to go through the point 2, -3, but I want to be perpendicular. So here's 2, -3. If I want to be perpendicular to the y-axis, that means that I want to go through this. So if I go through it, what type of line is a vertical line? That's going to be a y equals, and the y value is -3. So there's my equations. There's my lines question, lines lesson. Hopefully this is all stuff that you've done. I know we move fairly quickly, but I don't think there's that much here. There's not too much difficult material going on here. If you have questions, as always, make sure you're asking. I'll talk to you later, guys. Bye.